What is wrong with you? Oh my god. You wouldn't take finance advice from someone who's broke.
It's the role for me. All this here. Call your body a vessel for your soul's purpose.
To be out in the world dating men who have opinions about bodies.
You are men. You should be quiet. You have no right to have opinions about bodies. You should just find me attractive just because I am telling you this is attractive. Hey guys, it's Germaine and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a little bit different. I'm doing a reaction video and it's of a clip from Tamron Hall's show. If you're new to my channel, this is not a reaction channel. This is a channel where I document sort of my journey and the things that I learned along the way as I try to better myself, whether it's my weight, whether it's my personality, my brains, just like trying to be all around a better human being. And I share with you guys along the way things that I learn and discover, and I'm in no way perfect. I'm learning and I'm figuring things out as well. And sometimes when you guys comment and let me know things that maybe I never looked at things that way, I learn something as well from you. So I like that I have this little community where we can grow together and help each other out. I read all your comments, I really do. So just a few days ago, I saw this clip. I think this interview was like 2 months ago, but I just saw this clip like a few days ago and I thought I have to react to this because when I clicked into it, the title of the video was not what I thought they were going to talk about. So I genuinely thought that they were going to talk about toxic diet cultures and this woman were going to share like their bad experiences with the diet industry or something that happened to them. But no, as usual, this was a talk on fat positivity. So let's get into this video, shall we?
11 years old, I attended a summer camp where my counselor called me Butterball the entire summer.
I struggle with my body in very classic ways of really desiring the average teenage experience where I get to have a high school crush, I get to maybe imagine that a boy in my math class would like me back, and none of those things came to fruition.
I just want to say, as somebody who was also overweight, I mean, not just overweight, I was obese, 120 kg, that's obese. I can totally relate to what these women are saying. The other lady that was talking about being in school and just hoping that your crush would like you back and stuff like that, like I can totally relate to that because yeah, I definitely felt that.
You know, we have this idea of what a teen body should look like. You were supposed to be curvy, but only curvy and thick in the right places, right?
Now, as a photojournalist, I strive to tell the stories of fat joy and simply existing in your body.
There's been ups and downs, but right now I can say that I'm equally happy with who I am, what I represent, and what I provide to other people that look like me.
After over 2 decades of being at war with my body, I have finally found peace in my body, and we have come to a mutual agreement to care for and love each other, and that feels like freedom.
Welcome back. Author Chrissy King is with us today. She's ignited a really good conversation about toxic dieting culture with her new book. It's called The Body Liberation Project. We're also joined by Jackie Malloy.
Okay, I just want to say something that I find very, very weird and very odd about fat positive and body positive, like this community. Either be like embrace being fat, or it's toxic diet culture, or it's something super extreme like starving yourself and like you're advertising like, oh, people shouldn't starve themselves, or toxic diet culture is ruining everything. But then why must the opposite of it have to be this? Why can't the opposite of it just be like normal, just be a healthy? It just doesn't make sense to me because either one of it is wrong. If toxic diet culture is bad, so is being obese a bad thing as well. You don't want to be obese. So I don't understand why there's no like middle ground. Why must it be like either it's obese or toxic diet culture? So if you have to lose weight for your health, or you have to lose weight at all, then it's automatically you have to do something that's super toxic. I don't get that. If that makes sense. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. You guys get what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I noticed a pattern of them talking like this and I don't understand why. Why is it so extreme?
Kendra Austin and Jessica Torres, who say that after struggling with body image throughout their life, they are ready to share what's brought them to a place of joy. And I know, Chrissy, that's a big part of what you talk about, the joy in your journey. And we are very mindful of it on our show. I always tell my team, we don't want to have a series of people saying, this is how hard it is, because life is hard. But how did you get past it? That's a big part of the story. And Jessica, I'm so struck by your story. You're 32 now.
I'm sorry for interrupting the video, but I love how they say like life is so hard and like make it sound like as if this like you're going through like some disability or like you've been through like some kind of like heavy abuse or like poverty, but really no, it's just fatness. It's just fat.
Living the dream. You're covering fashion, which we can tell by the looks. You cover travel from a plus size perspective. But until 10 years ago, you never posted a full body picture of yourself.
No, not at all. I live.
Well, you're working it at age.
Yeah.
Look at you. Oh, man.
Do you think this Tamron Hall lady really like is into it as she seems? I don't know. Is she faking it, or do you genuinely think she's like the interviewer? Like she's genuinely like, oh yeah girl, you're rocking it. Do you think she genuinely feels that? I don't know.
Okay. Listen, it's the role for me. It's all this here.
I'm sorry. No, it's not the video, it's the lady, the host. I feel like the host, I mean as a host you have to make your guests feel special, right? So
10 years ago, you wouldn't have done that.
No, not at all. I was someone who wanted to blend in with the wall. Like I was the classmate that was in the back because I didn't want anyone to see back rolls, to see my arms or anything like that. So I didn't live life. I wasn't really living the experience. I was just going by and pretending to be part of the wall. And it wasn't until I realized that I missed prom because I was like, you know what, that's not for me. Someone who looks like me won't or shouldn't be there. That's what I thought. That's what we've all been, taught to believe. And then I was like, I can't afford it anymore. Like mentally, physically, to not be part of my own life.
Yeah.
And not make the decisions for myself rather than.
okay, so I don't have an issue with anything she's saying here because I feel like it is true. I mean, if you are overweight, I mean, if you look like that and you can either be, I'm gonna hide myself from the world, which was me, because I really had no confidence and I would rather just hide myself, and that was just how I would protect myself. But I like that she's saying that she was done being like that and she was like, you know what, I'm screw it, I want to live my life and I'm not gonna let this body be the thing that holds me back. And she was able to just embrace it and put herself out there. I don't think that's bad at all. I think it's a really good thing. If you're someone who can have that kind of confidence to do that, that's amazing. Do it. I don't think that's a problem at all. My only issue is if you are posting this and telling people that this is healthy, or if you're fighting against people who are trying to say that obesity is unhealthy, then I have a problem. Because I feel like if you feel beautiful the way you are and you feel confident to do whatever and jiggle and roll your rolls or whatever, it's on you. Live your best life. If you have that kind of confidence, go ahead. I think it's admirable for somebody to be so confident in themselves like that. Again, my only thing is, don't deny that being like that is also unhealthy, and don't encourage people to look like that and be like that. Like, that's my only thing. Or hate on people who are like on a weight loss journey, things like that. That I think is a bad thing. But yeah, do you? I mean, she's pretty though. She has a pretty face.
I love it. Much like what Chrissy talked about with childhood, some of this came from childhood, family, and doctors.
Yeah,
doctors.
Absolutely. So I have a younger sister who's thinner, but they thought we were twins because we were really close in age, and we would both walk in, and they would automatically, without even looking at blood or anything, diagnose me and be like, "Oh, she's like really in bad condition." Blood would come back, and everything was fine. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh."
I've learned that your blood work cannot tell everything, because even for me, I used to go for checkups and my blood work, the doctor would tell me that oh, you're obese and stuff like that, and it's not good for your health and all that. But then, because there was a time when I wanted to go and get insurance, and then I had to do my blood work, and my blood work came back, everything was fine, no sickness, no disease, and all of that. But it is a higher chance for you to get sick because of the weight. And I had other health issues which I don't want to say on the internet, but I had other health issues that involved like my uterus and stuff, and it was because of my weight. So even like the doctor told me, which is also one of the push that I needed to lose the weight, the doctor told me that if you lose weight, you will definitely see a difference. So weight does play a part in things involving your health. It does. Even if your blood work comes back perfect, that does not mean that you don't stand a higher chance of getting disease, because obesity is one of the cause of a lot of disease, and you can find that online. Any WebMD, anything, anytime you just Google online to see sicknesses caused by obesity, you will see these things. So you may not have it now, but that doesn't mean like few years down the road you won't still have it. I mean, you won't get sick.
Okay, so I guess you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die from being fat, which was like constantly what we're told. So you start believing it.
Right, so what you're saying is as a kid you go in, the doctors would see your weight and say, she's unhealthy. The blood work would come back that nothing was wrong.
Nothing was wrong, right?
But they still had a view of you being an unhealthy child, and you were hearing this a lot. Jackie, you had that story about being at camp. I think camps are great, but I only went to camp for 2 days because that happens. You get bullied in camp. And I called my father and said, come and get me. You had that classic childhood experience of going to camp and hearing hurtful words about you.
I don't understand how an adult can be like that. I don't get it. How do you look at a child that's still developing and still like growing up, and instead of like encouraging them, or instead, like, how do you go and make fun and bully a child like that? It's a camp counselor, not another kid. That's just horrible. I don't get it. Adults that act like this.
And that impacted, of course, how you saw
Oh my gosh, she
yourself.
looks so cute.
Yeah, it really did. And, you know, I was called Butterball by one of my counselors, and I think at the time I thought...
Or do you think they were saying it like in a funny way? Like Butterball, you know how like Indians, they do have a way of like, if you're a bit chubby, I cannot remember what's the word for it, but if you're a bit chubby, they would like call you something. But it's out of like being, it's like a way of saying, it's like a terms of like an endearment kind of term. It's not like they're trying to make fun of you. So I don't know if Butterball doesn't sound too bad. Butterball, I think it sounds cute. But I mean, if the council is saying it in a mean way, then yeah, that's bad, I guess.
I didn't actually know it was offensive. I kind of thought it was like endearing and funny and something to do with like my personality. And then I have an older sister, and she kind of like cued me in and was like, no, like she's making fun of you, like she's calling you fat. And it's something really unique to like be fat shamed as a child before you even know what fat shaming is.
Right, because you didn't even know process fully what it was.
Yeah, I didn't even connect it. I didn't even understand that she was making fun of me.
That makes it even more hurtful because you went in with the innocence of a child,
Exactly.
and then you learned something. But through your journey, you've become a photojournalist, and you actually attended an adult camp that was a safe space that embraced and celebrate women of all sizes. I have what you wrote. You said, "Never had I seen fat women so free." And I was a little hesitant to read that. Let's do it.
Yeah, it was such a remarkable experience. This is Camp Roundup, and it's an amazing summer camp.
Okay, I've changed my mind about camps now. I like camps.
It was incredible. You know, it was like these women coming, they could just fully be themselves. They were incredible.
Okay, so again, I don't see a problem in this. I don't know if I sound like I am contradicting myself, but I hope that I'm being very clear with what I'm trying to say. I don't think it is bad for fat people to live their life and do things that make them happy. And you know, like this, like she's creating a place for people who are like obese to feel comfortable enough to be in a pool and to be taking pictures and stuff like that of themselves. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think it's nice that they have that. Again, my thing is only don't promote that. Just don't promote or don't fight for the rights of saying this is healthy, this is good. That's my only issue, because it is not. But I think it's nice that that she's doing something like that for people to feel comfortable and have a place to express themselves. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, they got to bond and talk about if they wanted to, some of the things that they'd experienced and gone through. I mean, I had really never been to a public pool where I hadn't seen a fat woman sit on the side trying to cover herself or like drop the towel at the very last second and hear everyone like strutted to the pool and jumped on in. It was like jiggling and nobody was there. It was amazing.
Kendra, you said something, speaking of humanizing words. You're a model and a writer, and you said you call your body a vessel for your soul's purpose.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And those words are even more powerful when I reveal to the audience that as a teenager, you were 14, you were taken to Mexico to have gastric band surgery.
Yes. By the time I was a teenager, I probably had my first diet pill by the age of 7. I had been on many diets by the time I was probably 10 and 11. I have very distinct memories, similar to Chrissy, of like journaling about how I envisioned my life when I was then.
This is so heartbreaking. See, I feel like a lot of adults either do the extreme of like feeding your kid all this junk and not controlling the things that they're eating, and then there's the extreme of parents that do this kind of stuff, giving your teenager like diet pills and stuff. This is so wild to me. Why don't you just encourage your kid to go and play outside, control the food that you're giving them? Why do something like this? And I feel like this is why you would rebel when you grow up. This is why, I mean, I have a friend whose parents were very, very strict with her food. Both of us, big size, came from 2 different backgrounds. Mine was a mom that encouraged me and allowed me to eat whatever I want. Hers were parents that put her on like all kinds of weight loss things and Herbalife and all of these things, that even, there was a point where she became so thin and it was still not thin enough for her parents. And then later, as soon as she grew older, she went the far opposite and like started eating a lot and all of that, gained all the weight back and even more. So I feel like both sides is bad. Why are their parents doing this kind of stuff? It's ridiculous.
By the time I was a teenager, I'd already internalized, like so many women, particularly I think raised in Western society in America, like that my body was an accessory that was going to grant me the privilege of being loved. Right? And it was a status symbol. It was something that would grant me the love of my life, the job that I imagined, the power and influence I believed that I was capable of, because I did believe I was capable.
Okay, I just need to say one thing. Here's my thoughts on why I believe that if you are slim and you lose weight and stuff like that, you do get more opportunities and you're seen differently in society. Here's my thoughts on it, okay? I feel like how you can tell somebody cares about themselves and put in work to look a certain way is from how they present themselves from the get-go, how they look. So for me, how I look at it is, if you are someone who don't take care of yourself, it will show on your body, whether you are extremely skinny and it's just bones, or whether you are obese. It shows that, hey, this person doesn't really care about themselves. It shows. And what you're eating, how you live your life, because if you are really someone who exercise regularly, or someone who eats healthy, there is no way. And can we please not argue about what is healthy and what is not, because healthy food is healthy food, and I'm not about to argue with people who are like, oh, but then what is healthy for you is not healthy for me. Healthy food is healthy food. We learn these things when we were kids. So I feel like people who eat healthy and who exercise regularly and live that kind of lifestyle, sleep well and all that, it shows in how you look. So if you've been like obese and you're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you're not about to tell me that you actually care about yourself, because it doesn't really show. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like when I'm thinking of people like applying for jobs and stuff like that, you would think when someone walks into a room and presents themselves, how they look like they're put together, they put on makeup, they're dressed well and all of that, is because it shows that you care. And it's not a shallow thing to say that somebody who is put together and like puts on makeup and carries themselves well and dresses well, that it's a shallow thing to be like, oh, you know, like only then the person looks good, and only then we judge them all from a surface. Yes, we need to judge them from surface, because that's how you get to know if someone cares about themselves or not. We're not about to like spend a lot of time with them to see what their routine is. From the get-go, you can tell just based on how someone carries themselves and how they look. So I feel like that's just how it is, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
That I believe that I was like intended to affect change and to transform people's lives, and I thought the only way that I would be granted the space to do that is if I were smaller and claimed less space.
So you had these big dreams of impacting the world, helping
Yes.
other people, and your idea is, I can do this, but only if I'm thin.
I'm thin, right? And of course, like,
But see, again, because people want to follow and follow after people who make, like if I'm looking at someone, if I say I want to be like you inspire me, you have to look a certain way. You have to look like you take care of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know when you go to a fitness center and then there's like this fitness coach who comes and offers their service to coach you, but they are like with a big stomach and like they don't look like they take care of themselves. Why in the world would I want to listen to you? Like, you can't even take care of yourself. You still have a huge belly and you're coming and teaching me about how to like exercise and get rid of this belly. Like, why would I want to listen to you? And I think it's the same you wouldn't take finance advice from someone who's broke. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. If you're trying to inspire people to like live healthy and stuff, because the picture she showed, she was like in a sports bra and like workout leggings, right? So I'm guessing she's like into this wellness and stuff. So you must look the part. Duh. I don't get it.
so much of that is built by the fact that like my mother and her mother and the women around me and before me were all like raised in this like 80s diet culture of like Denise Austin videos and Billy Blanks and like literal cottage cheese being something that we thought was delicious, right?
I'm so struck by this because you bring up the 80s when I was a teenager. And Chrissy, the whole point of this show was to talk about this re-emergence of the toxic diet culture. Again, I refrain from judging people. I don't know anybody's journey other than my own.
Why don't you bring somebody who's in the health industry, health and fitness industry, who promotes eating proper meals and get them to talk about toxic diet culture? Why you bring a bunch of fat women to sit and talk about toxic diet culture? That's what I don't get. Because nobody said that you have to do toxic diet culture to lose weight. Why aren't you bringing like a bunch of people who talk about eating like, you know, good portions of food and eating like good protein and fats and veggies and working out? Like, why aren't you bringing those kind of people to talk about toxic diet culture? Because I can promise you 100% they also agree that these diet cultures are bad. You shouldn't live like that. Why are you bringing fat women to talk about this? I don't get it. It's so annoying.
But you do have folks who are taking the modern magic pill, which is a drug meant for people with diabetes, and it's the new magic bullet for losing weight.
I mean, the reality is that we could spend the rest of our lives looking for the magic bullet, right? Or looking for the thing, because as Kendra already stated, this idea that when I'm in my fitter body, then all the beautiful things are gonna happen, right? We've been sold this lie that life begins on the other side of fat loss, right? I'll find the partner of my dreams, I'll have the job of my dreams, I'll have the life of I'll be beautiful, like all these things we have been told are on the other side, and that's simply not true.
People are gonna disagree with me and say, oh, fat is beautiful. Okay, maybe to you, maybe it's subjective, okay? But whatever it is, yes, life is different when you lose weight. We live in a normal society. We live in a normal world where we like things that look healthy. We like things that look normal. If someone is extremely skinny, people are going to be like, hey, are you okay? Or people are going to be like, eat a sandwich. People are going to be rude or mean as well. Or people are going to be concerned.
Find the partner of my dreams, I'll have the job of my dreams, I'll have the life of I'll be beautiful, like all these things we have been told are on the other side, and that's simply not true. And you know, speaking of,
it is true. You will get the partner of your dreams depending on what kind of partner you're looking for. If you're looking for another guy who also eats like you, lives like you, and doesn't take care of themselves, and that's your partner of your dreams, then yeah, for sure you can find the partner of your dreams while you're overweight. But if you're looking for a man who, I know most women are looking for a man who is not obese and not heading towards the direction of just getting morbidly obese. Most women do not want to marry someone like that. Come on, let's be honest. Most women want to marry someone who is, I know that I'm not saying that he needs to be like 6 packs and all of that, but Most women want somebody who's normal. You don't want someone who's obese and who's going down the route of like becoming even bigger. You don't want that. So if your partner of your dreams is someone that looks like that, then yeah, sure, you can find him while you're overweight. Talking about dream jobs, yeah, some jobs you need to be a certain, some dream jobs you need to be a certain weight. You need to look a certain way. For example, you can't be a flight attendant and be obese. And it's not discriminatory, it's just the fact that a plane can only hold a certain amount of weight, and if you're a flight attendant on that plane, you want to be carrying the minimum amount of weight because there's a lot of passengers and baggage and whatnot. So I don't think it's a bad thing, or some people would like everybody to look uniformed for a certain type of job, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So if that's your dream job, you need to lose weight, then you need to lose weight.
I'm thinking all of the diet industry is a $72+ billion industry for a reason, right?
That's true. Coming up, more from Chrissy's brand new book on combating toxic diet culture, how she says body liberation can improve your dating life. Next.
Today, I am 27 years old and I love my body. I love every place that my body has taken me. I love everything that my body sees and witnesses and experiences.
She doesn't look so big.
My relationship with my body and my body image has definitely strengthened and gotten better throughout my recovery journey.
What gives me hope is the voices that I hear now being amplified, that there's room for other body types and to really embrace that we have worth well beyond our bodies and what they look like.
Okay, a lot of these women don't look super obese, and I'm pretty sure that life is not that bad for them. But I just want to say that if you keep this up and if you live like this, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you don't know what the condition is going to be like, because there are people who are like 30 years old and look like maybe 2 times bigger than this woman. So, and at 30, so how much bigger are you going to get 5 years down the road? Would you still be alive by then? If you're eating foods that is just going to help you progress and become bigger and bigger and bigger from there, at some point it's going to backfire.
Loved ourselves. That's what body liberation tells me.
Body liberation is taking back essentially what belongs to me.
Okay, you see the way her stomach is overlapping the front. So I had an issue previously where it was pressing on my, because it was lower, it was pressing on, what's that, my pelvic, and I had like issues with my pelvic floor, because you shouldn't be carrying weight over there like that, and my stomach was not even that big. And so if you're saying like your blood work is good and all of that, that's amazing. But all this kind of issue you cannot tell from your blood work. You cannot tell that if your uterus is coming down because of your weight. You cannot tell if like things are pressing on your pelvic floor. You can't tell from like this. But with a stomach like that, that's hanging like that over your body, 1000% it's going to affect you.
One of the things I never anticipated was how much entering the dating scene at the age of 34 would trigger my body image issues. So dating again triggered some of these old feelings.
Absolutely, because it's one thing to like come to this place where you like are just so at peace and you love and you embrace the body that you're living in. But the reality is we live in a world that is incredibly fatphobic, right? And so
I really hate the word fatphobic, because when you Google what fatphobic means, they say it's a fear of fat people. How in the world not being attracted, not being drawn, not being like, yeah, this is someone that I really like, not being drawn to somebody who's fat, automatically becomes fatphobic? Why is everything so drastic? Why is everything so extreme? Why is there no like a middle ground? Oh, you are afraid of me, you're afraid of fatness. What does that even mean? I'm so confused. Why is everything so extreme? Oh my gosh. It's either you're fat or you are on some toxic diet culture. It's either you like me and you think I'm hot, or you are fat phobic and you have a fear of people that look like me. Why isn't there a middle ground? Why must it be this or that? What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh.
You're gonna come into contact with people who don't have those same values about bodies that you do, right? So
what is the value
it's like
about body that you do?
It definitely triggered my body image issues in ways that I wasn't necessarily anticipating, to be out in the world dating men who have opinions about bodies. And so I think that
she said to be out there dating men who have opinions about bodies. So you're not supposed, as a man, you're not supposed to have an opinion of what you think is attractive or not. You cannot. You should just be quiet and just date whatever and just have no opinions. What is she talking? What is she saying? Oh my god.
This place of me coming back to myself and realizing again, reinforcing what I know to believe to be true, and also remembering that I don't want to date anyone who really is just interested in how I look anyway.
Right.
And so if you're not
right, that's all you see.
Yeah.
That's what you said earlier.
But people are visual beings though. So before he gets to know you and before he knows like your personality and your heart and all of that, he's gonna look at you from the outside, and that doesn't make them a bad person. Why are you looking at it like, oh, I don't want to date someone who doesn't well, what did she say? Let me rewind again. The entitlement, the way they speak with their entitlement, I cannot.
Have opinions about bodies. And so I think
I need to remind
it definitely triggered my body image issues in ways that I wasn't necessarily anticipating, to be out in the world dating men who have opinions about bodies.
To be out in the world dating men who have opinions about bodies. You are men, you should be quiet. You have no right to have opinions about bodies. You should just find me attractive just because I am telling you this is attractive. If any of you have read the book, please let me know in the comments, because I feel like I don't want to even bother reading it. I might cringe too hard, but that's this video, guys. Whenever I watch this kind of stuff, I get really annoyed, irritated, I roll my eyes a lot, and I do this in the comfort of my own room or my house. And now I'm putting that reaction on the internet. I have a strong feeling people might not be too happy with this video, but this is just my honest opinions. This is the way I think. I'm just so tired, and so I am triggered. I'm triggered by the word fatphobic. It's used for every single thing. Just because you don't find somebody who is fat to be attractive, now you have a fear of fatness, which is, how do we even get there? From here suddenly we jump there. On an episode where you're talking about toxic diet culture, instead of bringing like somebody with a medical background or someone who is in like who is a nutritionist or someone who's in the health industry, you're bringing a bunch of fat women to sit and counter the conversation about toxic diet culture. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell and like this video, and comment down below what you liked about this video, any input that you have, and if your input is constructive, I'll take it. I'm fine with that. I actually did receive some constructive criticism in my previous videos, and I'm very open to taking constructive criticism. Just keep it polite, keep it nice. I'm a person, I've got feelings. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video.